You an accomplice, then come back. Fight for America while they kill us in the streets. Justify for black on black crime. That shit is weak. Still, I style the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we walk. Over the last few years, some lines have been crossed. Try to reverse racism and throw it back on us. White victimhood bullshit, you better back it up. Y'all commit crimes at a higher rate, like morally you at a higher place. My blackness I embrace. For those that embrace they black skin, we are not kins or friends. We your enemies until the end. I don't need allies, I need accomplices. Down to accomplish this, fight for human rights, and it's a long fight. We say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. Just a bunch of shit. If you an accomplice, then come back. We say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. Just a bunch of shit. If you an accomplice, then come back.
If black lives don't matter, then blue lives will splatter. Fast pitch beanball, purposely I hit batters. That all life shit come back to black raised fist. That fist black power slam down, earth split. These white folks talk shit clown. Is this a joke? Display life in pierce fat, you get poked. Kill culture vultures with their dead bodies. I feed vultures. My flame roasted, point blank dome shot from this soldier. Attack be abrasive, blatantly racism. Just staying unacceptable like potato salad with raisins. Don't let TikTok have your snot box rock. Eggers on talk shit, get dropped. They call cops. Mind your fucking business. Don't get involved. 30% right there is your problem being solved. If not, you see black lessons taught. Severe ass whooping in the street feel our negative thoughts.
We say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. Just a bunch of shit. If you an accomplice, then come back. We say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. Just a bunch of shit. If you an accomplice, then come back. We say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. Just a bunch of shit. If you an accomplice, then come back. We say Black Lives Matter, they say all lives matter. Just a bunch of shit. If you an accomplice, then come back us.
Greetings, salutation, and welcome to Conversations with TNathan on this, the 17th day of July, 2024. Welcome, welcome. You're listening to me out in Radio Land on the GCPR network. Welcome, welcome. You're listening to TNathan. And if you're following me across all my other social media platforms, welcome also. This is the show that you want to hear, everything you need to know. So, how y'all doing tonight? Hope everyone's doing well. As you know, I have been, those of you all who watch me on social media, you can see I've been listening to J.D. Vance's speech at the Legion of Doom convention, or as you all like to call it, the RNC. I listened to his speech, and I will listen to the rest of it later because he's still talking. Um, Joe, Joe, uh, Donald Trump Jr. also spoke. His fiance, Kimberly Guilfoyle, she spoke, and it's been an interest. It's always the last 3 days at the watching the Legion of Doom convention, Republican National Convention, has been interesting because the tenor of this is overtly religious. There's so many religious aspects. Um, the governor of Arkansas last night, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she came out, she spoke, and it was the part that got me. It's like she talked about Donald Trump and God saving him and sparing him from an assassin's bullet. An assassin, I'd like to point out, that is a registered Republican, 20-year-old, affluent white community individual, Republican on Republican crime. But she said God wasn't finished with him yet, so saved him. But my thought was, what about all the kids that have died in mass school shootings period? That the AR-15 type weapon that Thomas Matthew Crooks used have been used in. Did God just not care about children? God doesn't care about children. Is that what you all telling me? Uh, she, her, where are you at? She, her. I see a comment. Your electricity went out. Where are you? Are you in Texas? Are you in Texas? Greetings, Penelope. I see you also. All is it Dallas? I mean Houston. Y'all got power? Have they restored? They said they was going to have most of y'all's power restored by today. Is any of my listeners can let me know if you all had power restored or if you're still listening on emergency power there outside of Philadelphia. Okay, see, her is outside Philadelphia. Um, yeah. So I want to know, someone check. Penelope, check on that for me if you can. I have Penelope doesn't know she's my on-air assistant, right? Because she'll be out there and I'll be like, hey, would you check on this and text me or let me know in the comment section? She have my direct number so she can text me this information. Olivia, my chief of security. My chief of security is always late though, right? He's always late to the program. And when he comes in, Penelope, you tell him I said that too. He's always late, but he's always right on time also. But I was wondering, did God doesn't your God doesn't care about children, huh? He cares about Donald Trump being spared from. He could spare Donald Trump from an assassin's bullet, but he couldn't protect innocent children. All the Republicans had for those cases were thoughts and prayers. I was getting my thoughts and prayers ready. Uh, Greetings, Olivia. I was getting my thoughts and prayers ready. I don't know about the rest of you. I was getting my thoughts and prayers. That's what I was going to do. I was going to thought and pray them to death. I was going to send the same blessings and all not that they send to parents of children that have been unalived in school shootings that they have, done nothing about. So y'all understand my stance, right? Y'all do understand. We're going to talk about several things tonight. The RNC is going to be the underlying principle and how the Democrats, the Democrats better get ready for it because, yeah. And we're going to talk about, the attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump by this 20-year-old named Thomas Matthew Crooks, who is a registered Republican from an affluent white community. And he had been, so more things coming out today. He had explosives in his car. He had explosives at the house. Walking definition of domestic terrorist. Um, and he is a Zionist. He's a Zionist. So, and that was interesting because they had a Zionist at the Republican National Convention, and I'd be like, do these people know where they are? Do these people know where they are? So do not forget, we got to get this through because the Republicans are killing you Democrats right now on trying to blame you for this while some of you all are going on a conspiracy theory that I had somebody tell me that this attempted well, he is a murderer. He did murder somebody, but this young man was set up. And it was like they were saying it was set up from front. I they feel sorry for him. For what? What? He's the standard type that do these mass shootings. White male, look at him, incel, um, hasn't been on a date since he came out of a date. Yeah, that's what they do. But we need to start hammering it home. We need to start hammering this home that the assassination attempt that wound up killing one Trump supporter and injuring gravely two others, and causing some glass to ricochet off of the teleprompter into Trump's ear. And why do I say that? I say that because have you noticed we don't have an official doctor's report yet on what exactly Trump's injury is? We're calling for Biden to take a neurological exam, and I'm gonna make some people mad with that also because I got some news that I think is going to unfold and lead us into next week. And Democrats, you all better hurry up. But anyway, we get a call for Biden to take, the cognitive tests, neurological tests, and all this. We all in the records. But why can't we get an official report on the injury that Donald Trump is wearing a maxi pad on his ear at the Republican National Convention about? I'm just saying, if it's a bullet wound, just let the doctors tell us he was struck by a bullet. That's why I say glass until someone tells me differently, because yeah. Uh, so that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting for somebody to share that with me. Medical report. We need a medical report. We're doing all this investigation into the Secret Service response. And I don't know. I put up a video the other day to show you I have been to a Trump rally. so I know what security looks like there, and I see it. And this is what amazes me. It's like the Republicans are calling for the DEI hire of director of the Secret Service, who is a white woman, the white woman that have benefited most from affirmative action. So they say DEI, and I was like, think this makes sense again? But anyway, but unless she was there walking the perimeter, or because she doesn't oversee the day-to-day operations of the officers in charge of the detail for Donald Trump. So they calling for her to resign. And I be looking at them like, why? Did she map out the perimeter? Did some she didn't have to sign off on it. You know, these events that Donald Trump does on a regular basis, you know, they're signed off by his own security details in tantamount with the local law enforcement agency. Local law. Nick, what's up, Metal Melter? Trish wants to know if it's the heavy flow pad. Trish wants to know if it's a heavy flow pad on his ear. Now, I don't think so. I think it might be a heavy flow pad because you know he's been into overkill. But I remember the first night when I'm watching the Legion of Doom convention, and he walks out. He walks out with this big ass pad on his ear. I mean, bigger than his ear by large, right? I saw a video on my if y'all on my main page, but there's a video of it. And he walks out, and I just bust out laughing. I literally bust out laughing looking at this man walking out at the RNC convention to to this spiritual music, right? And he has a maxi pad on his ear. That's why I want to see a medical report. I want to see a medical report, right? Because yeah, it took all that. They couldn't just. It was just spray some adhesive. What is that? Clear Band-Aid on and call it a day. And I was like, you're that vain. You would have went for the clear Band-Aid, right? But no, you come out. And he has tears in his eyes. He's like he got glassy eyes, like he wants to cry. And they're giving him the standing ovation, round ovation, and it was hilarious to me. It was hilarious. I know people going with Donald Trump. No, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is hilarious. It is hilarious. And all the people leaning into the conspiracy theory, you all don't have any strategy on how to take the White House. Now, so we're going to come back to Matthew here. We're going to come back to Matthew here because I'm going to make it my point that Democrats can't be trusted to do their own strategy. So it's going to fall to people like me and other independents and strategical thinkers to bend this narrative that this is the man who attempted to kill your, can I say kill? I just said kill. It's after 10 o'clock. This is the man that attempted to assassinate your candidate for president of the United States. Yeah, this little incel guy right here. Standard, looks standard. Yeah. All right. But let's go to the other breaking news of the day. Other breaking news of the day. And I'm going to harken back to something when I talk about this. And it's going to make some people mad. It's going to make some people mad. Because as extreme as you all are on believing that Donald Trump set up his own assassination attempt, and that's the best they could find was some incel, 20-year-old Republican, active Republican, to be the fall guy for it. I mean, I don't know which is funnier, that you all believe it's a setup or that you believe that this is the best they could come up with. I mean, the way you all believe in government, sometimes I'll be like, I'm gonna get Nick. I want Nick to build me a bunker for all of us. We're gonna build. I was watching the Orville. I know, a lot of y'all not, but I was watching the Orville, right? And they came across this giant ship the size of Manhattan in space. I want Nick to build us one of those. It was like self-sustaining. Yeah, Nick. I want Nick to build us one of those. I'm gonna work on finding the immortality portion, but he can build the ship. I know he can. It might take a couple of years, but yeah, I'm also thinking about joining the volunteer mission to Mars also, because yeah, Democrats, y'all trying to fuck around and not only lose the presidency, but the House and the Senate also. And I think the presidency is a foregone conclusion, but you can stop the bleeding and hold on to the House and the Senate. And I talk about historical perspectives of that because during when a president wins a landslide and the president, people still seem to like the balance of government that we have built into our system. We just have, enough people being put in. But you can still hold the House and the Senate as a breach if you all want to. And that brings me to the news that was announced about an hour and a half ago while I was watching the RNC, is that Joseph Biden has tested positive for COVID while in Las Vegas. While in Las Vegas, giving a speech, his results came back and he was positive for COVID. And this was because he had been suffering from a runny nose, which I was watching his interview earlier this week, and I said something. He sounded like he did at the debate, and I said, well, it sounds like he had a runny nose. I was right. He has a runny nose, and he has upper respiratory issues right now. And he's 81, and COVID is not like it. COVID is still like it was, but we have better treatments for it now. So I see people that don't understand. I'm talking about optics. Now, this has been the worst 3 weeks for Joseph Biden's possible presidential run. At the same time, it's been the best 3 weeks for Donald Trump's presidential run. I mean, starting at the debate, the dismal debate performance, the calls by Democrats to ask Joe Biden to step down. I'm going to talk about that for a moment before I go further. People get on me for saying this and calling out for this, but my thing is, why did you all wait so long? Joe Biden should have been forced to be a transitional president 2 years ago, but definitely last year. And as more people get on me, and I see more and more reports coming out about insiders that work in the White House and work about Joe Biden, saying the things that they see on a regular basis or have seen on a regular basis over the past year, then I feel like y'all playing in our face. Yeah, I feel like y'all playing in our face, and you're also causing. This should have been happening when Joe Biden's numbers, his approval numbers, were at 36% last year. So I'll be like looking at people and they acting. It's no surprise. This has been the state of his approval rate. I would put him up there, but I didn't load them tonight, and I don't feel like spending time to load them. I'll load them next week. I'll load them later in the week for you all, and we can sit and break them down. And I am not talking about just one poll, because people have a tendency to, they don't know the difference between what I do is I average polls out, and then we come up with average numbers, or I look at the polling that the Democrats are doing. That's another thing. It's sometimes the delusional rate. Hey, at this point, you all have not chose to stop the bleeding, and it's only going to get worse. Adam Schiff come out today. Adam Schiff. Do you all know Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi are like two peas in a pod? That's his mentor. They're close. So before Adam Schiff came out today and said what he said about Joe Biden needing to step down, you could best believe he talked to Nancy Pelosi about it. Yeah, don't hate. I'm gonna tell you though. Don't take pot shots at the messenger, because I will cuss your bitch asses out, because you're not cussing out, you're not taking these pop shots at the people who are saying this, but now you want to say, well, TNathan, you don't understand it. Don't make me say it. I cuss. I don't care. I'm on the radio and still cussing. Don't think you're safe because I'm on the radio for the next 41 minutes, right? But this is the thing. And people keep saying it's a small vocal group that think they're the majority. They're not listening to the polls. The same polls that when it had Joe Biden up past 49% before the dismal failure of withdrawal from Afghanistan, everything was good. But when those same polls start to reflect, and that's when, if you want to be honest, Joe Biden's slippage has never recovered when it slid those four, I think it slid from 49 to 43, 6 points in less than a month during the withdrawal from Afghanistan, the drawdown in Afghanistan. and it has never returned since then. It's hovering in the mid to upper 30s, and it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. But this is the good thing. See, this is why I tell you, Democrats, you can stop the bleeding, because Donald Trump's approval rating is about the same. It's a little better. It's a little better, but he's leading in the polls, and people, I can explain the difference and how that happens. But because his approval rating is no, people don't want Donald Trump except the Republicans here. But I'm gonna tell you this, and this is what the Democrats are gonna have to overcome at their convention. Donald Trump's the Republican convention has left a gaping hole, and I want to see are the Democrats going to use it as a wedge. Number one, there's the nomination of this guy, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, who has petitioned for a national ban on abortion, and the Democrats need to start running commercials based upon that. They also need to take J.D. Vance's own words and use them against him, because he has had some colorful things to say about Donald Trump, the never Trumper. He compared Donald Trump to the guy who ran Germany from 1936 on. His words, not mine. And Democrats need to jump on that. They need to jump on that and start using J.D. Vance's words against and attack ads. I know, some, and I looked at when Joe Biden said that they were going to pull all ads off the media after Donald Trump was hit with the glass, right? I say, who is teaching Democrats strategy? Anybody? Who is teaching Democrats strategy? Um, the, silk is one of the strongest textiles there is. They got it up to hold this poor. I'm sorry. So I got distracted by jazz. But, this is what I don't understand. And I've never understood it, because this is not a new development. And what's my favorite thing to say, even though I dislike it, it's true. Republicans politic better than Democrats, and they are not hindered by an unrealistic expectation of a moral compass. Because Democrats they're more interested in seeming being right about some insignificant issue than they are about securing the power to protect the rights and liberties of marginalized groups of people. I said it. Yep, I said it, and I stand by it until you show me differently. And don't point out bills you haven't read, because I read every bill that Congress finally gets around to passing. I usually know about it as it's working its way up in the system before it's even passed. That's why I knew that the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill that was passed never defined lynching, and that it wasn't an independent bill. It was just part of the hate crime legislation. And when you get to that point, we don't even get a symbolic victory, unlike the Asian crime bill. But we don't even get a symbolic victory. Then we also have to deal with the fact that they're going to build 3 monuments to Emmett Till's death. Yes, they're going to be 3 monuments to Emmett Till's death. One at the courthouse, where nobody was found guilty in association with his death. One at the point in the river, Tallahatchie River, where he was pulled out of after having barbed wire tied around his body to a fan and thrown in the river. No justice was at that point. And then we're going to put it up at the church in which his mother chose to have an open casket funeral, because she wanted the world to see what racists in the South had did to her son. And nowhere along the lines of these 3 federal monuments that we're going to put up as a memory to Black suffering, Black pain, and Black injustices are there any justice at any point. It's not like it's a story that ends with somebody being brought to justice for his count, because Carolyn Bryant got to live a whole life. She got grandchildren, and she lived with the lie that she told that led to the death of Emmett Till. And I feel some kind of way about that, just in case you all haven't been able to know. And this is what a Democratic Congress put forth. Instead of adding a lynching bill that had teeth and that talked about lynching, or the reparations to families who have been lynched in this country. I'm not even talking about all Black people, but the lynching that has occurred in this country that has been commemorized in postcards in this country, you think we got proof. They sent out postcards, they know their name, we know the family, but no. All right, let me get off that soapbox because I got to get back on another one. So Joe Biden tested positive for COVID. And when I say this is one of the best 3-week spans for Donald Trump, because he survived an assassin's bullet, and plus he's at the RNC, even though he has a tampon on a maxi pad on his ear. He's at the RNC with a good spray tan, and he fell asleep. See, that's another thing Democrats don't do. I was like, why aren't you all making videos about him falling asleep at the RNC? Like Donald Trump is getting a pass right now for everything. He's falling asleep at the RNC, and I'm like, oh, this makes a great ad when they're talking about Biden's age. And has anybody seen an ad with Donald Trump falling asleep that's being sponsored by the Democratic Party? Anybody? Greetings, salutations, everybody that has joined me that I just looked up, and I've been too busy on my soapbox to acknowledge Portia. And I think somebody else walked in and said hi to me. I didn't see it. But has anybody else seen a video ad with Donald Trump falling asleep while Amber Rose was basically giving him a glizzy polish at the RNC? Anybody? Has anybody seen? Okay, I guess by your quietness, nobody has seen what I've seen. Ooh. Yeah, and now you have to have the civil Republicans give him the Toastmaster 3000. Yeah, and then Amber Rose has officially blocked me. I would like to, Amber Rose blocked me from her page, and I found out today. Amber Rose, Joy Reid from MSNBC had made the same observation that I had, but I don't have a platform like Joy Reid does. But I had said the same thing. I think if you were in here the other night when I was talking about Amber Rose at the RNC and a keynote position, and I was talking about why y'all get Amber Rose to try to appeal to black people when she is in fact said she's not black, right? So Amber Rose, Joy Reid said that, and Amber Rose shot off a X tweet telling her, "Well, I never said I wasn't black." I was like, "What?" Like, I don't even have to watch reality shows to know who you are, Amber Rose. I know what you've said. So I went and found the two cuts, one from the reality show she was on, and when she got into it with one of the Puerto Rican black people on there. And I went and found a clip of her saying literally the following. Hold that thought. I'm gonna play it for you. What she said. This is Amber Rose. This is Amber in her own words. Let me get it.
Perceive you, and is that how you perceive yourself?
I do not consider myself a black woman.
Hold on. Y'all didn't hear that. Y'all didn't hear that good. Let me make sure. Let's get it.
That's how people perceive you, and is that how you perceive yourself?
I do not consider myself a black woman. Absolutely not.
Now that's Amber Rose. That's her. So I took the opportunity under her shot at Joy Reid to post that video. I was like, you remember when you said this? And then I was like looking in a couple of hours, and I was like, oh, nobody's paying no attention to my video on Amber Rose's comment. Because you get notifications on X when someone says something about your video or likes it or something like that. I said, dang, I guess nobody is paying any attention to my video. So I go back to her page. Okay, I try to go back to her page, and I can't see her page. I can't, but see, I've taken pictures of people's pages because I've been blocked by Don Jr., I've been blocked by, what's her name, was the Rocky record, Candace Owens, and I've been blocked by other people. And I was like, I'm gonna start taking pictures of these pages before I leave comments. So I took a picture of her page, and then I went back and I couldn't see her page. And that means I've been blocked, or they were taking the page down. But then I see her page is still up, and I noticed that I get a message that the video has been, the comment has been deleted. She didn't just delete my video under her comment. She deleted her whole comment. Amber Rose did that. She deleted the whole comment on the page. But luckily, I'd already taken a picture of it, and I found the article telling about that she had deleted the comment. So Amber Rose said she wasn't black. Uh, don't hate me. Don't be mad at me because I have a decade memory and I remember these things. Don't be mad at me. She said she wasn't black. I'm all for rocket raccoons or rocket raccoons to me. Want you to say you want to be a rocket raccoon, all my life I'm gonna say you're a rocket raccoon. Yeah, just be prepared to hate me and your anti-blackness. Anti-blackness is not a casual accomplishment. You just can't dip into it and dip out when it serves you, right? Nope. Better not ever let me find out, because once I call you a rocket raccoon, I'm probably gonna call you a rocket raccoon the rest of my life. Yep, the rest of my life. So she said she wasn't black. I said, okay, she not black, and she didn't like me reminding her that she wasn't black. I agree. She said she wasn't black. She not black. Yep. Yeah. Got to get. And she said it at a right, Jazz. She said, I forgot the little name of the little reality show when she got into it with Julie, right? But it was high school. Is that the one? Is that the one, Jazz, when she was having the argument back and forth with her, and she said, "Why?" And the Hispanic woman, a Puerto Rican girl, told her, "I think of you as a black woman." She said, "Oh no, don't." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Amber Rose listened to the radio, crying in her car. Look, I'm not going to eliminate my white father. Who said anything about your white father? Yeah, you said you wasn't black. Joy Reid said you wasn't black. You were racially ambiguous. She said, I don't want to. Let me play. Let me play. Let me play some more of what Joy Reid said, right? Because I agree. I just made a video about it, but I agree. That's where you want to stand. Let's get it.
Fact that they were able to recruit this young woman who, and she's she's a racially ambiguous. I don't want to say she's black because she has said she's not. So I don't want to say this woman who is of whatever race that she has claimed. She said she's not black. They brought somebody whose whole career is based in black culture. She would used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African American rappers in the business in the history of hip hop. So her whole culture came from black culture, even though she says she's not a black person herself. And the fact that she is now the person they're using to try to recruit young people of color and to say that this is the person who is the endorser of Donald Trump, who you should trust, when she won't even claim the culture that brought her to the table, I'm dubious that this will work. I don't know anyone who takes their political cues from Amber Rose, but just in case you do, you might want to duplicate doing your own research because she might not have done it.
That's what Joy Reid said. I mean, it almost mirrors everything I said on the show the other night. But great minds think alike. And I said that. I said, who's listening to Joy? Who's listening to Amber Rose for political advice in the black community? And yes, I saw the video she did with. I said at the announce they announced her as a rapper, a rapper influencer. Can somebody tell me what Amber Rose raps? I mean, maybe because I hold my female rappers to the state of MC Light or somebody. I know a lot of people are too young to know who MC Light was. But anyway, like MC Light or something in that nature, even Little Kim raps better. But I have never heard Amber Rose rapping anything. I don't know. I thought she was just a video vixen myself. I'm like, don't shoot the messenger because they shoot back. But I thought she was just a video vixen. I didn't know she actually was a rapper. Um, but having said that, who listening to Amber Rose? But now, now the Republicans act like they've done some research on Amber Rose, and maybe they remember when she said the following. Now, I guess they just found this video of her, another video I got of her when she said the following.
But you're not.
No, I'm an atheist for sure.
Not a Satanist.
I'm not a Satanist though.
And there's a distinction.
Satanists are just, they're atheists as well, but they're just more political.
they have like it's actually a very rational, logical religion. They help a lot of people, a lot of women to get abortions.
As I'm gonna get to that in just a minute about JD Vance. So that was that's another video I have of Amber Rose that I was like surprised that they put her on a keynote. Guess listen, she just said she's an atheist. Not only is that, but she's stupid because she thinks Satan is an atheist are the same thing. And you know, you listen to these things, and you're like, oh my goodness. It's like, is anybody home? Is anybody home? So that would did somebody call for Satan? Don't worry, it's Amber Rose. She doesn't know the difference. She wouldn't know the difference because she said I'm an atheist and Satan is an atheist, but they're different. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Somebody make it make sense. But so now she's going to start facing some backlash. Trust me. Republicans are now seeing that because I posted it on my X page. And Republicans are now seeing that. And there's going to be backlash. Mark my words. They might wait to after the convention because they're riding high on this wave of Rocket Raccoons that they've had speaking at the RNC from Monday night until tonight, right? So they're riding high on that. So they might give us some backlash, but they're going to keep it toned down until after the convention, right? But yeah, that's Amber Rose. And I still haven't got an answer on what black people are taking their advice from Amber Rose about political matters, period. Yeah, I would. Hmm, I could. Let's see, do I have enough time? Yeah, I have a little time. I have a little time. I want to play some of her speech. I will play some of her speech from the convention.
My entire family is racially diverse. And I believe the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all.
Y'all hear that? You're on the RNC stage telling people that have literally passed law to erase black history from schools, have literally passed laws that are adversely affecting transgender people's existence. And you stood on stage and said you had did your research. I'm not even gonna talk about the housing discrimination, the statements of saying I don't want black people to count my money, I want Jews to count my money. I'm not even gonna mention the fact that after Charlottesville, he said they will find people on both sides. Forget that. That's forget that. Forget that. That's just icing on the cake. The 1972 racial discrimination case about housing in your building. Oh no. The fact that you took out full page ads calling for the death penalty for the Central Park Five, and then once they were exonerated, you act like you didn't say anything. All that. But she stood on that stage and said that in light of issues that are going on right now that are being spearheaded by the Republican Party. Can somebody make that make sense to me? I need some help. Is her research in the room with us? As a commenter, is the researcher in the room with us? Is make it make sense. Make it make sense. And this is what's so killing about this. This is what blows me on the Legion of Doom convention that is going on in Milwaukee. Yes, I know it's Milwaukee and not Madison. Forgive me for Madison got upset with me when I said Madison, the Legion of Doom convention is in Madison, Wisconsin. They people got mad at me. I got all kinds of stuff. No, it's in Milwaukee. I know it's in Milwaukee. I've been talking about it. I don't know why I said Madison. I'm gonna blame it on the gelato I was eating at the time because that gelato was good. So y'all just, I apologize to Madison, but Milwaukee's mad too that it's there. But it is. It's there. So you deal with this, and these are the people they're putting up. And then there's a black mother, Madeline Brain, that was there, Bramer, that was there, and her son was killed in 2018, and he was stabbed to death by 4 individuals that happened to be undocumented. And they used her because this is a mother's grief. And it's hard for me to address the mother's grief, but she had a lot of things incorrect about her. I went and researched the case, and I remember talking about it. This is when I was on Facebook before I transitioned to all the other social medias. But I had talked about her son's murder and how it had happened and how it unfolded. And it was like anybody that had anything bad to say about any district attorney that has brought charges against Donald Trump, and if it just highlight if they were a minority, they put them on stage. They put them on stage. Um, I just found it so hypocritical. And this is what I say: the Democrats are horrible. There should be commercials all over the place using the word. I was fact checking because I fact check in real time. While I'm listening to people speak, I'm fact checking. That's one of the benefits of having a eidetic memory and covering and watching news nonstop, reading, talking about nonstop. It's like always in my head. I got all these screens that you could see in here that I am constantly. I got PIP on every device. I got PIP. I got headphones that listen to one thing. I put them up like this to listen to something else. I'm always taking in processing information, so I can usually fact check in real time. And they had. Do you all remember a show called Crystal? What is it? Um, it was this white couple in Georgia, and they did real estate and other investments, and it was a reality show. Crystal knows best. Um, Chrisley knows best, and they were arrested for tax evasion, tax fraud, all kinds of white collar crimes, right? And they had her daughter. They had their daughter at the RNC, Savannah. Daughter's name is Savannah. It has Savannah there, and she was talking about the Fulton County, Georgia court system, and how her parents were in federal prison because of Fannie Willis. No, your parents are in federal prison because they committed a financial crime. And that's not coming from somebody judging because I was in federal prison. So I've been to federal prison. Nobody was talking about, well, the DA mistreated, all that. And no one invited me to speak at a national convention, not even the Democrats. And they're supposed to be for jail reform. Maybe I'll get an invitation one day. But she was up there like, the fault was somebody besides her parents ripping people off for $83 million. Make it make sense. You know what? No, I'm gonna tell you. Maybe if the Democrats did hire if they did hire their publicity teams from Timu, they would get better results. They would get better results. Because that brings me to the next topic. Oh, I still haven't finished about Joe happened. So Joe tested positive for COVID. And this is what I wanted to say about this. You all remember during the George Stephanopoulos interview, and people kept talking about, he kept pressing Joe Biden about withdrawing from the election and what he was going to do. What did Joe Biden say? Does anybody remember the exact phrasing that Joe Biden said the only way he would consider withdrawing from the reelection campaign? Anybody? Christy knows best. There, that's it. The DA was crooked. That's it, Jazz. That's exactly the I couldn't. Yeah, that's the name of the program. I didn't watch these programs. I just watched the news about these people. Then I knew they had a reality program, and then to see their daughter on there talking about that really blows me. I don't know what are you. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't remember. No, Joe Biden said during the George Stephanopoulos interview, the only thing that could make him consider withdrawing his reelection campaign from his reelection campaign is the Lord Almighty. Do I need to play this for you? No, he said that. He said the part about the rate about. He said that recently. He said that this week. He said that this week in his Lester Holt interview. And he said that he raised if a health issue came up. But I thought it was, and even that fits because he said the Lord Almighty, and then he said a health issue with Lester Holt, and today he's tested positive for COVID. Anybody? Anybody? Anybody think it's a sign? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's low hanging fruit. I should be really ashamed of myself, right? But anybody think it's a sign? Hmm. Anybody? Anybody want to cuss me out now? Who wants to cuss me out? But I'm just saying that was his words. So I said, be careful what you wish for. And while at the beginning of this, I said it wasn't too late. Every day becomes later and later, and let me tell you why. Because the Republicans are showing out at their convention. They're just showing out. But I'm gonna tell you, if you're really paying attention to the convention, because Nikki Haley spoke last night, and yeah, Nikki got some booze, but because that's, I'm telling you, the theme of this Legion of Doom convention is submission. Submission. Every former candidate that has run against Donald Trump that was allowed to speak at the Legion of Doom convention has had to supplicate to Donald Trump. Nikki Haley supplicated. Tim Scott supplicated. Well, Tim Scott has been on his knees the entire time. Ron DeSantis supplicated. All of them had to supplicate to Donald Trump. And they had to do it in prime time. Nikki Haley's speech was in prime time. All the DeSantis speech in prime time. I really, everybody that was literally on that stage except Chris Christie. I am going to say this. I'm not a big fan of Chris Christie, but standing by his principles, they will never be at the Republican convention. They will never be on the news having a side by side of Chris Christie saying all the things he said about Donald Trump with him literally on the Republican National Convention stage, glizzy swallowing. It won't happen. It didn't happen. Chris Christie did not do it. Did not do it. Everybody else did it. Nikki Haley, all these never Trumper. J.D. Vance said he was a never Trumper. J.D. Vance compared Trump to the guy who led Germany during World War II. He said he was ours. That was ours. And this is his presidential running mate. You know, the thing about politics that we all should understand, there are very few people that have the strength of their convictions. Because once they figure out that they have to change their convictions to get power, all these people are vying for positions in Donald Trump's cabinet. All of them want to be safe from his wrath, too, because Donald Trump is going to exercise his wrath as soon as he gets in office. And you all better get ready for it. And at this point, I know people don't like me saying, will Tim Scott call the wedding off? Nancy, right, in low ratings because people will not be voting for them. Nancy, I have said the same. I was like, is it too soon for me to say that? I was gonna make a whole video about it. Is it too soon? Because Cory Booker did the same thing, right? Y'all remember when Cory Booker was running and he had this instant relationship with Rosanna Dawson? And as soon as he didn't win the nomination, about a month or two afterwards, they had broke it off. Yeah, anybody remember that? I was like, somebody. I've met Corey, and I have taken a different approach from when I first met him to now. I don't like Cory Booker right now because he's one of those people who doesn't have the strength of his convictions. He said something at an influencer meeting after voting to to shut TikTok down. He had the nerve to show up at an influencers convention talking about we are the wave of the future when it comes to news. If you don't get your ass out here and sit down, go blow smoke up somebody else's ass. Well, I'm not faulting. So Cory Booker is just like a lot of those other politicians that are on social media, especially TikTok, while also at the same time saying they voting for TikTok to be removed. Hypocrisy doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well. So Democrats, right now, you all have some hard decisions that you all should have made last year. You should have made these decisions a year ago. But as in all cases, you wait till we get right up to the fence, and now you want to be forced to make this decision. Because y'all can be mad at me all I want to. I've been telling you all this ever since before the debate. The debate just cemented what I thought and what I was talking about. But Joe Biden has COVID. And this is the thing. I talk about we live in a country that everybody acts like optics all of a sudden doesn't matter. The optics of this week, the last 3 weeks, Donald Trump has survived whatever it is he was hit with in an assassination attempt. He has a good spray tan going on at the convention. They are strategically showing him in the best possible light. Joe Biden, on the other hand, has COVID. And if he doesn't rebound in a couple of days, it's going to be even harder. And the calls are coming from within the House. You all can face this if you want to, but the calls are coming from within inside the House. Joe Biden has COVID. Joe Biden, if he doesn't rebound in a couple of days, he's going to look even worse in the jinx pot against another old man. And like I said, why aren't Democrats calling for the medical records necessary to confirm what Donald Trump's injury was in the assassination attempt? Yeah, the assassination attempt is clear, but Donald Trump said he was shot. But I have not seen any medical professional say that. While you all are calling for Joe Biden's medical records, I feel that's fair game also. You know, he said he was shot with a bullet. What kind of bullet? Well, I know what the gun shoots, but what kind of bullet? What was the extent of the damage? Because that maxi pad he got on his ear doesn't show any extent of damage. And I just can't believe he didn't get the spray on. You know, the spray on Band-Aid. I just can't believe it. But yeah, we want to know. But Democrats are at this present time doing nothing in the face of countering any argument that is presently going on. And they're going to wait until you have to get to a convention, have a brokered convention, where Joe Biden can give his endorsement to Kamala Harris right now. Joe Biden should endorse Kamala Harris right now. And people don't understand why I say that. Well, what about? No, because it will mean something. It will mean something, and it also will galvanize people and free them up from these private backroom conversations and say, let's get to work. All these private backroom conversations are going on, whether you want to believe it or not. They're being leaked. They're literally being leaked. They're literally being leaked. And instead of talking about them and addressing them head on, we're doing this drip, 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 drizzy, dre, drizzle, and then having it as the news cycle every day. Because he got a break. He got a break from Saturday to today. He got a break. He got a break. He at the NAACP convention telling us what black jobs are. I thought we had established that there were no such thing as just black jobs. But Joe Biden reminded us that there are black jobs. Like Vice President of the United States, in spite of the fact that only one black person has been Vice President of the United States in 49 tries, Sounds like a black job. And people say, well, he was joking. Joking about why are why are we always the butts of jokes? Why? Whoever wrote that speech needs to be looking for another job. When you say this, it's that standard bullshit that I get from liberal white people whenever they stand up in front of an audience of black people that they do this shit. When Donald Trump said black jobs, and I do point out that it's not the first time he said it, but that's the first time some of you all were listening. When he said it, everybody went in the uproar and talking about, oh, black jobs, and those bling, and making memes and all that, and it should have been over. Joe Biden thought it was the right time to revive that issue was in front of the NAACP yesterday. Can somebody make it make sense? That reminds me, I have to take one of y'all's jobs. You can have my bestie's jobs. Well, no, you can't even have my bestie's job. I gotta find somebody else's job for you to take. And this is the thing, right? That is the thing. Why? Why are Democrats shooting themselves in the foot like this? Why are we talking about conspiracy theories to assassinate Donald Trump and not leaning into the evidence that this man, Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 20-year-old registered Republican from an affluent white community who was part of a gun club, who had explosives in his car, is him? Why? Why is every live that I see, 90% of them are focused on some kind of conspiracy theories from people who failed math in high school and failed science, talking about bullet trajectories and velocity and all these other issues. Most of these people have never fired a gun. Like I said, most of them failed math and science, and none of them have been to a Trump rally. They didn't even know that it was a teleprompter there because the screen didn't show it, or the big ass screens he has when he's putting stats up there. They didn't even know that that was there. They were like, well, look at him, look at the shooter. No, he's looking at these screens that he is showing to the people. They don't even know these things, but somehow these are the people you all are listening to in lives. People talking about how people react to when guns go off, and the only guns they seen go off are in the Bad Boy movie franchise. They've never been shot at. No, no. They best they have is movie version, and you all are listening to them talk about conspiracy theory. All of a sudden, one other night talking about how blood moves under pressure. I asked them, was they a phlebologist? They did not even know what that was. They didn't even know what I'm talking about, but they're telling me about the movement of blood. You can't make this up. This is Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20-year-old registered Republican that tried to take out the GOP nominee for president of the United States. What is so hard about that? What is so hard about that? Why do you all want to sound like MAGA supporters all of a sudden? Why? Why are you all so busy in your echo chambers talking to each other about who you all already have decided who you're going to vote for so strongly with each other? What are you doing to move the needle amongst people that never Biden, never Trump? What are you doing to move the needle amongst those 20% of people who say they're not voting for any? Y'all realize that. When we talk about these percentages that each one of these presidents have, you all don't realize these are both some of the lowest percentages in history. There are just as many people out there telling you all that they are never going to vote for your candidate. Not your party, your candidate. And you all are spending more time in your echo chambers talking to each other about a yellow thing in somebody's hand, ketchup blood, how he missed. Look at him. He has glasses on. He had glasses on in the pictures where he was shooting at. He was trying to shoot somebody through crosshairs. You all have convinced you yourselves that in 1 minute y'all say he's stupid, which I have known ever since I known Donald Trump. He's a narcissistic, malignant, stupid individual who that doesn't mean that he doesn't do things in his own best interest. But this is the man who tried to get out of paying Stormy Daniels. That was a plan he came up with. If Donald Trump was a mastermind that was behind the planning of an attempted assassination, you would have never known he paid Stormy Daniels $134,000 through Michael Cohen. This is what you all believe. Does this make sense to anybody besides dead people? Why are you all having that conversation based on past history? Or you believe that Donald Trump is such an evil genius that ever since 2015, he's been plotting how to become president again in 2024 by manipulating a 20-year-old registered Republican with glasses on? Oh. And tell me when I break that down, it doesn't sound like the dumbest shit you ever heard. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on for just a minute, y'all. I got to sign out because I'm always running over when I get on these soapboxes. Out there in GCPR world, thank you for joining us. I am going to cut off because I am a minute, and I'm almost 2 minutes over this time. Last minute I was up for a minute. Luckily, I don't think I have anybody trying to get on after me tonight. Tomorrow night, I got to remember not to run over. But thank you. If you want to catch the rest of the after show, join me on my various social media networks, except my main TikTok page, because I have been suspended there because they didn't like the way I talked about the assassination attempt of Donald Trump on Saturday. So I've been suspended there till next Saturday, and we'll be back there then. But right now, if you want to catch the rest of the after show, join me on any of my social media accounts. All right, we're out of here. 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Peace. All right, now back to your back to the show. But does that sound stupid? Does that whole scenario that I just laid out sound stupid to anybody but me? Did he collect any money before he was alive? They can't understand why Kyle Rittenhouse killed. Oh, I missed that. It went back too fast for me. Yeah, but that's what you all are sounding like. You all sounding like that. You have called these people stupid all this time, and now all of the sudden, out of all the other plans that were just so stupid, I mean, election interference. Your idea of a genius is to pick up the phone and call somebody and tell them to find you 11,000 votes on an open phone call. That's the guy you think planned this? You think that guy planned this? This didn't even require. This is what y'all think. Y'all think the guy whose idea was to send Rudy Giuliani somewhere and try to influence and threaten black women at election polls. You all think this is the planner of these things. Sometimes y'all make me sick. Be sick and tired of you all. Because I don't want to have to fight a unified Republican Party starting next year. I don't. I think they're stupid. No, I'm talking about Democrats. I think you all are stupid, but I'd rather fight Democratic enemies into next year because you're so stupid and weak than I would rather you all let the opportunity to win an election that should be a shoe-in and give it away. See, I'm fighting for the self-interest of marginalized groups. I'm not fighting for your feelings because I think you're stupid. I'm not fighting for your feelings. I'm fighting for the weakest enemy that we can face going forward so we can affect change quickly. Yeah, that's what I'm fighting for. You all are fighting to look right. You all are fighting to look right, and you don't care about the cost. I just want to look right. No, we need to protect the rights and liberties of marginalized groups of people, women, and all that. And that requires us to politic in a way that outdoes our enemy. Y'all don't get that? Y'all don't get this that's what we're trying to do? What are you all trying to do? Besides losing an election. I'm listening. What are y'all trying to do? Because that's all I see you all doing, trying to lose an election. An election that should be so easy to win. But this is the thing. At your present rate, you're not only going to lose the presidency, you're going to lose the House, you're going to lose the Senate, and you're going to lose every Supreme Court justice that retires during the next administration. You think the Supreme Court is 6'3"? Wait till it becomes 7'2" or 8'1". I don't see. You're going to have Kentanya's going to be there a while. Most likely, Mayor is going to be there a while, but it could theoretically become 7'2". It could. What you gonna do then? On a public interview, no, he can't even plant a Band-Aid. I'm too old to fight the. They're establishing ways to launder campaign money, and Trump and Giuliani still choose to do it wrong. This is the man people are going around here saying, plan this. The man who couldn't plan an election interference without picking up a public phone in the most recorded line in the world and calling Georgia and say, find me 11,000 votes. The man who thought it was a good idea to come up with fake electorates because his lawyer said, this sounds like a good idea, fake electorates. Who would ever think of this? Oh my goodness. We have watched every plan that they have tried come to fruition in a court, and you think this is the best. Lean into it. Thomas, say it with me now. I want all of y'all to say it with me. From now on, whenever people talk about conspiracy theories, I will counter with this is Thomas Matthew Crooks. And he is the man that attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. He is a 20-year-old, he was a 20-year-old until the Secret Service agent blew a hole in his head. He is the 20-year-old active Republican, gun owning. Oh, he took the gun from his father, went and bought 50 rounds of ammunition. And I got to charge my phone. I got to charge my speaker. 50 rounds of ammunition the day of the event, went into the Trump rally and left the Trump rally. What more do you all need? I sound like all these years, the same thing about the grassy knoll. John F. Kennedy is still dead. All these conspiracy theories about the grassy knoll did not change one thing. Did not change one thing. They just make for good. They just have these intellectual conversations with people going nowhere with them. Well, Lee Harvey Oswald, he did this, he did that. He shot John F. Kennedy. But see, you got to understand the trajectory of the bullet. Did you pass math? Did you pass science? Or did you go out and take some measurements? Did you reenact the assassination of John F. Kennedy with the same weapon, the same skill set as Lee Harvey Oswald? Did you? Shut the fuck up talking to me. Shut the fuck up. Because this is an exercise in pseudo-intellectual futility. I want to know what our strategy is to win the offices. I don't think at this point, I don't think y'all can win the presidency. Fight me. I don't think you can win the presidency unless you all can turn around the perception that you all are waiting to the last minute to get to. And if you're not careful, you're going to hurt your down ballot candidates and you're going to lose the House and the Senate also. Don't like me, do you? Like me. And there are X's in the road, real life Mr. Magoo. And you can bet a Republican judge will give up their seat unlike Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and just like Dianne Feinstein. Luckily, Dianne Feinstein was in California, but she should have been gave up her seat too. And then this is the hypocrisy of it. Today, we were talking, and they were like, Biden comes out in favor of term limits. The man that is supporting term limits is 81 years old. Is he going to apply this to himself? Or are we going to self-term limit while we're in the process? People are like running around like this is something amazing that instead of another campaign promise. I still haven't got the campaign promise for I'm gonna be a transitional president. You think I can get the term limits when I can't get past the fact that you said you would be a transitional president, and here it is a few weeks before the Democratic National Convention, and this is what you all are doing right now? Limits and term limits for all. I'm waiting for the hit dogs to holler. You can go measure it. I'm not going to measure it. Wrong way. So I have to point this way to point that to get to see that. I see who is the man here. Thomas Matthew Crooks. Yeah, I don't need to go measure it. Thomas did all the measuring he needed to do and had one job. Thomas took the measuring of Tom. Thomas had the little rangefinder on him. That's what's so funny about this. Thomas had the rangefinder on him, walked into where the secure area where the rally was going to be, walked around, took some measurements, and left. I'm just serious. Took some measurements and left. And everybody is like, well, and then this is the thing about conspiracy theories, right? It's just like the grassy knoll, and I'm going to referring to it as the grassy knoll because that's crazy too. So I might as well throw all the crazy shit in together. But they're arguing about their different conspiracy theories. Here we have a prime example of a time when you can make it work for us, right? Registered Republican, 20 years old, looking like this. They always show the baby pictures of killers, right? Looking like this. And we're arguing about where the bullet came from for real. Can't make this up. They're arguing about where the bullet came for real. And instead of saying the bullet came from this guy, AR-15 styled weapon, this guy. They're not arguing they're not even requesting the fact that we get some medical records so we can see what kind of injury Donald Trump had. No one at the RNC is talking about what kind of injury Donald Trump really had. Nobody wants to see any medical paperwork. But I got people who didn't pass math or science, and they want to talk about, well, the angle of the bullet that was shot. Can you spell geometry? Can you tell me if the tree is 9 feet tall and it's 12 o'clock in the day, how big is the shadow that the tree casts if the sun is at a 90-degree angle to said tree? If you can't figure that out, stop telling me about bullet velocity or entry points. Yep, I don't want to hear it. Mm-mm. I wanna hear- if you can't tell me how many types of blood there is, don't tell me about how it flows. If you've never been shot, don't tell me how the people react that have been shot. If you're only brushed with gunfire, I mean with fireworks, is with gunpowder is fireworks, I don't want to hear your opinion about what people do or how it sounds. The answer is 42. 42 what? Pancakes. Answer is pancakes. And if we agree it was a hoax, they have no answer for what we should do right. So, because you're just in an echo chamber. Okay, we agree it was a hoax. We're not sure how it was a hoax, but we agree it was a hoax. Instead of trying to, and then all the people I was protesting with this spring are looking at you all like you sound just like the very people you tell us you're not. So if I had any idea about getting off my couch and going to support your candidate, you have just made it confirmed for me that I will not be getting off my couch and going to support your candidate either, because you all are just as crazy. Apple is the answer. All right. All right, you all. As always, thank you for joining me. If you would like to be a part of what we do, um, because the Supreme Court law that said passing down the ordinance, cities are starting to enforce it about homeless people not being allowed to sleep in public spaces. I don't know where they think homeless people are going to sleep because they can't sleep in private spaces either. They get a trespassing charge. But this government has criminalized homelessness. So that means, we need to do more. If you would like to be a part of that more, here's my Cash App, my Beacon link has ways to help also. Subscribing to my main page. I take the subscriptions and we help those who have to be homeless or whatever they need, wherever we need to get them out of the situation. But it's going to get a lot worse. And I don't need people just talking. Olivia, thank you for being a subscriber to my main page. Nick, thank you for all you do. Everybody who does help and reach out, thank you all. It does help. But we have to do more than talk. Unless you're a pirate, then your talking gets me through a lot of dark times. At least he keeps me laughing and joking when I want to actually, um, can't say that on here. I get suspended off this account too. But we got to make a difference. It's not just enough to support me in my words. You have to support me in my deeds also. I I show you what we do, what we're about, and we need help. I don't know what else to say. We need help. Or else what are we doing this for? What are we doing it for? Just tell me where I need to move if that time comes. I'm gonna tell you, right? Joe Biden does step down and Kamala Harris is not the automatic endorsed, do. I'm just going to prepare to fight the Republicans all the rest of the time. Because see, that's what I'm waiting for people to acknowledge. Kamala Harris was good enough to be the vice president. But now that it will be time for someone to take over this transition, if you all pass, if you all make this go to the convention and make it a broker convention and she has to claw and scratch her way up to the top, you all are a bunch of weak ass bitches. Because it amazes me now that when the vice president just really has one job actually. They're next in the line of succession. And if a woman who has been elected to the largest state in the union population wise for their attorney general, she has been elected to the Senate, the United States Senate from that state, and she has served all this time as vice president isn't good enough, the only reason is because she's not a white man. And that will be the, see, that's another thing. People don't realize why I'm making these arguments. 'Cause I just want y'all to tell me that now so I can act accordingly. Because I'm going to act a fool. I'm going to act a fool. If those same people who talking about they're going to vote blue to keep Donald Trump from office have any hesitation about voting for Kamala Harris, I'm going to act a fool. I'm act a fool. Because you're just showing us how we're good for and that's why, and people don't understand why did it bother me so much that Joe Biden said vice president is a black job. Most vice presidents don't succeed the president during the time of office. They run on their own. But you're just telling me that it's a black job to be behind an old white man that is showing that maybe it's time to move on. But he is so defiant that he doesn't even pass the reins on to the person he picked to be his vice president. You're telling us that you only picked her to be your vice presidential running mate because you wanted our vote, but you didn't really want her to be president. And I'm going to act a fool. I ain't seen nothing yet. I'm going to act a fool. So, Trump filing bankrupt upwards is genius, but somehow Kamala is a plan. Right. This coming from somebody who has political differences, policy differences with Kamala Harris. But if I'm on here supporting Joe Biden and my policy differences with him directly impacted my life, yeah, I don't want to hear it. Y'all can swallow your racism and your misogyny just like I swallowed my time in prison under the criminal statutes of the 1994 crime bill. I swallowed that to still do this. And you all can't swallow your misogyny or your racism long enough to defeat the greater threat. Y'all ain't gonna beginning to see how foolish I can act. Because that's what you all will be telling us. You all will be showing us. And we're good enough to live in your shadow. We're good enough to get your vote. But no, we need to let the people speak. The people spoke when they elected you president with her as vice president. They spoke. Now all of a sudden, we gotta let them decide again. All right? Play with me. I'm serious. I will burn it down. Because technically, y'all know that was my answer when Dr. King told Harry Belafonte he felt like he integrated his people into a burning house. Y'all lucky I didn't. I would have been campaigning Dr. King. I'll say I'll bring the sticks if you bring the marshmallows, and Harry Belafonte can bring the graham crackers and the chocolate, and we can watch this shit burn. See, Malcolm said in the ballot or the bullet that there would come a time that if the ballot didn't work, we would have to try other means. Now, I have been in the ballot phase for a long time. Even though I talk about it, I still have registered voters. I still have talked to people about the issues. I still have advocated for the weaker enemy. But if you show me that it's time to end the ballot phase, all for it. I'm all for it. Greetings, Fluffy. Yeah. Y'all consider. Y'all consider donating to the cause. Cash App, Beacon Link. Subscribe to my main page, and that way we can sit down and I can talk to you about how we can get in your area and do what we do in our area. But if you just want to talk about revolution, I'm tired. I'm tired of you all. If you, I'm not talking about the people who can't. I understand some people just can't. That's fine. We'll make alliances who can't. But if you are not doing it because you just want to talk about revolution, I don't have time for performative actions. I really don't. I don't have time or the inclination. You can go to those other lives where they platform Trump supporters and they have these pseudo intellectual conversations and can't conversate their way out of a point. But yeah. All right. Anything else I need, family? Olivia? Hey, Fluffy. It's all good. Olivia, Penelope, Nick, anything else I need to cover before I get out of here? What is going on these in these comments? I was just talking about the issues facing the Republican Party that means facing the Democratic Party with Biden having COVID, not going to be on the campaign trail. Okay, so um, Nancy Pelosi has told Joe Biden, polls show he cannot win. Let's see how he listens to her. Nancy Pelosi has told Joe Biden that, and I just said when Adam Schiff came out and told him that publicly, I knew he had talked to Nancy Pelosi. So Nancy Pelosi has told Biden that polls show he cannot win. But see, I don't think it's time. I don't think y'all gonna be able to recover in the polls for the White House. I really don't. I think at this, unless y'all do something major, we're gonna lose the White House. We're gonna lose the White House. But maybe we can hold on to the Senate and take control of the House, and that will be and other things. You are going to have to get out in your local elections and build a bulwark against the change that will sweep if we don't. So at this point, it's about local elections. It's about holding on to the House of Representatives. It's about winning the House of Representatives and holding on at least to the Senate. And that's what you got to do. What does Nancy Pelosi know? I wish y'all pick a struggle. I wish you all pick a struggle. You know, that's what gets me, right? When these people are saying things you all agree with, you all are fine with. But the minute they say something that is actually in the best interest of the people, what does she know? She knows that the polls that the White House took, the White House, I'm not talking about CNN or MSNBC, I'm talking about the polls that the White House took. They know those are the same polls that have determined policy placement of the White House, the same people. You know, maybe the 70% of registered voters who say they want anybody except Donald Trump and Joe Biden, maybe they know that. Maybe they know that the echo chamber you all are fucking talking into is not going to secure the rights of women, minorities, or gay people. LGBTQ community, we're going to watch the rights they've gained in the last few years evaporate. Women, we're going to watch you all's rights deteriorate because you all won't acknowledge the fact that number one, this is not, let me say, I was about to go somewhere, but I want to cuss some more now. This is what you all are not acknowledging because maybe you all weren't out there like I was all spring protesting with people who think Joe Biden is in favor of genocide and the optics that brings to the table. Just because we're quiet and not talking about it right now, because we're trying to say, let's move past this and just get the House, get the Senate, and get the presidency. But because we're not making enough goddamn noise, what you all think is okay is for all of a sudden, nobody knows what they're talking about. I made a whole ass video showing me out doing the work of registering voters and talking to people about the issues in the community. And then you have the nerve to think I don't know what I'm talking about when I am talking to these people every day. Every day. But does she know? I don't know, because y'all built her up as the first Speaker of the House, female Speaker of the House, the most successful Speaker of the House, and now all of a sudden she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything. They refuse to listen. They make the same mistake as assuming Biden will win. Yeah. Now she doesn't know anything. When did that happen? When did that happen? That kid is a hero. He may have missed the shot, but at least he tried. He's not a hero. He had one job. I don't know. He's not a hero. He's not a hero because he didn't complete it. So that gives the Republicans the platforms to blame Democrats for the rhetoric that Democrats are not even smart enough to counter with anything except conspiracy theories instead of putting this kid on blast for trying to kill the nominee of his registered party. We got compilation of people on Donald Trump. Are you all right? I'm just calling to check and see that you're all right. I know you're a threat to democracy everywhere, but I just want to call so you can leak this call and then use it against me because I'm checking on you. So that must mean I don't think you're the threat to democracy that you actually are, because I want to call. I'm going to pull all the ads that we have planned to run against you this weekend. You know, you take a break, and I know the Republican National Convention or the Legion of Doom Convention is coming up, but we're going to stay silent during you all's time, and you all just say anything you want to. You nominate anybody you want to, and no matter how much low-hanging fruit you give us, we're going to give you a pass because, you know, you got your ear damaged while you didn't even speak of the people who actually died at the rally or were injured until 3 days later. But, you know, you do you, and we're going to argue amongst ourselves about turning down the rhetoric because, you know, Mark Robinson, I'm sure he didn't mean to say that liberals needed killing. And, you know, I'm sure he didn't mean to say that. I'm sure all the rhetoric that you have done at your rallies in the past, that was just metaphorically speaking, all that. But we're going to just give you the space. Please make me start. Make me start. I'm like Captain America. I can do this all day. But I try to have these conversations with you all to get you to see the light. But no, you don't want to see the light. You want to live in these delusions that are going to cost marginalized groups of people their rights, their freedoms, and their liberties. And you want somebody to hold your hand and say, you know what? You were right about this one issue that led to us not holding on to any of that. None of it. Who runs a campaign like this? We've spent 8 years talking about the threat to democracy. And 1 week, 1 day, all that is supposed to be just turned aside. All that is turned aside. All of a sudden, nobody meant anything. We were just talking. Joe Biden stopped the nation to give an address. As many trans kids have been killed this year, and not one nation stopped. He stopped the nation to tell us we were going to be all right in the face of an attempt on Donald Trump's life. I didn't feel threatened. Political violence is not acceptable, but violence to our citizens is. Political violence is not acceptable, but violence done in the name of politics is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Women's rights being stripped to them so we can go back to the era in which abortions were happening in back alleys by people who claimed to be physicians with coat hangers. But that's acceptable. Women dying in childbirth because we're not even going to allow contraceptives that help them with menstrual cramps because they could be used to prevent a pregnancy. That's acceptable. erasing the contributions of marginalized groups of people and black people from history is acceptable. Our children, oppressed, oppressed. You might not have any children, but have you ever dealt with a child that didn't want to go to school because they felt like their life could be in danger, and they're not talking about their life in danger because they're being bullied, but because a random school shooting could take place with a weapon that we can't even seem to take out of the hands of people? That anybody who needs an AR to go hunting with needs not to be hunting. They need to buy their hunting material at Walmart in the meat section. Is that what you all are believing? Because if that's your position, I have some beachfront property that I'm trying to unload in Nevada. Yeah, you right. See, Fluffy, I grew up with nuclear fallout, nuclear bomb drills. Like I never, in retrospect, you look back on, it's like, what was getting under my desk doing in the face of a nuclear explosion in the area? And that's how I feel like now. Kids hiding in under their desks. The calls is coming from inside the house. We're teaching, just think about it. We're having drills to teach our children on how to exit schools in the event of a school shooter. And then we have to worry about if the police are going to shoot our kids once they exit the building. Make it make sense. And you all think the problem, yeah, I don't know. I think it's crack. Was an Amazon. Yeah, I think it's crack. Convinced it's crack. Gen X, we didn't even think we would live this long. My son was worried about so much more. And you all let them convince us that we're the problem. We're the problem. You want us to be desensitized. I'm gonna tell you, as like I say, I watched every hour of the Legion of Doom convention. They want teachers to do what the Secret Service can't. Good observation. Good observation. I've watched every hour of the Legion of Doom convention. And I tell you, at no time have I heard them talk about unifying the country. All I've seen is the submission of their party to the wishes of Donald Trump. That's what I've seen. I refuse to buy light up shoes just in case there's a shooter at my kids. It's rain, and that's a good thing. I'm fighting. These people. I refuse to not let my child go to school without their cell phone. Yeah, I fight for their right to go to school with their cell phone. People, well, you kids are distracted in school. I'd rather a distracted child than a dead child. I'd rather a distracted child than one that can't call me when they need to. So you all figure it out. You all figure it out. If I could get a rice chip in my child, I would. I get a rice chip tracking device in all my children, my nieces and nephews, even the grown ones. I would. So don't talk to me about we want to ban cell phones in schools, but you don't want to ban the very weapon that has led to the fact that our children now being murdered at the hands of gunfire has eclipsed dying of childhood diseases. That's what you all want? We're talking about cell phones. Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe if you made your class more interesting, because if they were interested, and I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. the one number on their cell phone they need during school hours is mine. But you're not going to take the whole phone from them. Not going to take their whole phone. I don't count on you all to keep my children safe. I don't count on you all to keep my besties' grandchildren safe. I don't count on that because you're not those. I would have had no problem walking into Uvalde to get mine. I had no problem walking. It would have been a whole different story. Sir, you can't go in there. Don't make me shoot you on my way in. You all have armor on. And you scared of the child with a gun that he shouldn't have in the first place. And then we got Republicans talking about Democratic rhetoric is the problem. There's a song by Billy Joel called We Didn't Start the Fire. My fight is still fighting with disability and tired. Yeah, we didn't start this fire. There is no way you can put this on us. But I'm going to tell you what, we've let it burn for too long. We've let it burn for too long. And I'm seeing now that I can't count on even those who say they're about that life, being about that life. Just a minute. Message. Speaking of crumb snatchers. Shopping. JD Vance is running for president to take the place of Trump when he gets locked up. if Trump wins, he's not going to get locked up. Ambitious. JD Vance is Trump's. I'm admit on my list, I didn't have JD Vance first. I had Doug, but I think Doug would have won if it wasn't for Saturday. JD Vance is going to say the things that Donald Trump is going to believe his new image is not going to say, but he once said. Because if you watch Donald Trump has not spoken yet at the Legion of Doom convention. He's scheduled to speak tomorrow. Is it midnight yet? He's scheduled to speak tomorrow. JD Vance spoke today for the first time. His wife introduced him, who is Indian. And I didn't know his wife was Indian, of Indian descent until after I knew who he was. I had already talked about him, his book, Hillbilly. Oh my goodness. I knew about, but I didn't know his wife was of Indian descent. And I mean, when you see her, she's dark skinned Indian descent also. I remember he said we are trying to fight in that song, but we should have and still need. Yeah, we didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world been turning. But yeah, that is the truth of the matter. I didn't know either until he was announced. Right, I did not know. I knew his wife's name, but that was on me. I had never really bothered to look at a picture of her. And then to realize I knew she was a lawyer. What's up, Cam? You late? Late to the show, Cam. I was about to end it, and then I got hot, and I had to get that heat off my chest because I got crumb snatchers in the house, and I never take out my anger displacedly. I put it where it belongs. Um, uh, y'all get to see what kind of channels I got back here. Yeah, this is my CNN TV. This is the one up here. That's my split screen for the BBC and NBC, MSNBC. Then I got Fox over here, and then depending on what's going on, I put on the other screens. But yeah, most of the time you're gonna see back here, you're gonna see news on. Even when I do, like I'm binge watching Orville. I'm binge watching Orville because I didn't realize it was as good as it was. When it first came out, I was like, I ain't watching this stuff. It seems stupid. But I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it. So I binge watch Orville, put that on the big television. But I'm always like, if a breaking news story come on, no matter when I'm binge watching something, I'll pause it to put the breaking news story on because I always have it in the box. Vance ripped Trump over and over. Vance called Trump our, because I don't know what it is about social media that doesn't like the word Hitler, but Vance called Trump that. He said that that was ours. Vance said he was a never Trumper. So did Burgum. So did Marco Rubio. All of them. So did Nikki Haley. So did Ron DeSantis. All of them supplicated today. She's Indian. Yes, she's of Indian descent. I don't know what part of India or what caste system or anything like that. I'm gonna have to do some more research. I know she's an attorney because he made reference to that when they were talking about him having a debate against the vice president. Yeah, but that is where we are. That's where we are. They met at Yale. Yep. And I guess what we're going to, and it just gets me because he said that he wrote his book because the story of middle class white people hadn't been told. And I was like, make it make sense. Isn't that the whole history of television? The whole history of television is middle class white people's story being told, unless you count the Great Gatsby. Oh, yes. All right. Um, I'm trying to end it, unless you all want me to snap on anything else. Andrew Yang. Republicans are united to win. Republicans are united to win, but they got to unity through submission and basically swallowing the glizzy of Donald Trump. But the Republicans are not interested in uniting the country. That's another thing I got. Do you understand? That is what I'm getting out of this that I don't hear them talking about enough. Everything the Republicans have put on during this Legion of Doom convention has been about a united Republican Party, but not uniting the country. There is no conciliation in anything they're talking about. That whole platform change they had going into it, listen to the speakers. And that's it. Y'all consider joining us. All right? So we got 2 more nights this week. What are your thoughts on the third party candidate? That no third party candidate is going to get to 270. And third party candidates blow me because I never hear from them until the presidential election. If you were seriously interested in being a serious contention with a grass party movement, you would start on your local level and get involved in your local level politics. I see all these third party candidates and I don't see any mayors, I don't see any city councilmen, I don't see any city representatives, I don't see any of those. I just see some people that all of a sudden pop up and think without any kind of basic understanding. And then the thing that other blows me about them is they don't know how our government works. They don't know how our government works. I'll listen to somebody drag me to a third party candidate's debate. And I'm listening to the questions and I wanted to be the moderator because I wanted to tell them that question answer has no basis in reality. How are you all going to govern as a third party without building consensus amongst the House of Representatives and the Senate? How are you going to build that? There is no third party in this country that is going to win any seats in anything because you all are not starting off at a level to build into a wave of grassroots movement. You're not doing any of that. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the best third-party candidate you all have had since H. Ross Perot, and he will not win one electoral college vote, just like H. Ross Perot did. Yeah, Lula, I feel that, but if I was going to start, it would not be I'm going to jump out and run for president. And that's the problem. And that's why I tell you, Jill Stein. Why isn't Jill Stein, if she is so concerned about the course this country is taking, why isn't she Representative Jill Stein or Senator Jill Stein or Mayor Jill Stein or City Representative Jill Stein? Why? Why? I could go on. All of them. Why aren't they doing something to change their community? Jill Stein's a millionaire. And it's probably still a gift. I'm 45 minutes from Perry, Iowa. I had to tell her about what you're 45 minutes. You're not far from me, Rain. I live in Kansas. I live in Kansas. You're not far from me at all. If you're 45 minutes from Perry. Yeah. But and people are like, well, you need to talk. I don't need to talk to them about their ideas because I listen to them debate. And when you refer to somebody to your website as an answer to a debate question, that is the epitome of insulting the idea of debate. You're here to debate your points, not to reference me to your website. What are your thoughts on socialism? Do you think we could get there? No. Socialism is just another ism. If we need getting there is the problem is that we need to dismantle the system, not incorporate another system that has shown us it still doesn't work. We need to address a system and create something that works, that is working independent of the government we build on top of it. We need to create a society that, as a society, that no matter what, we should have free health care, free access. We should never have hungry people, free access to shelter, free education. So we got freedom from hunger, freedom of shelter, free medical care, free education. These are the foundations that we would build upon. And on top of that, we would build our government. Our government may be in service to the pillars, and our pillars will be immutable. That way, we wouldn't have a safety net because nets have holes in them, and people would fall through them. And free universal income. That should be the basis of our society. No one should, no one in our society should go hungry or have to make medical choices or eat. And therefore, they should be the bottom. And then our government should be in service to that. We're not going to get there. We're not going to get there if we're just changing systems. The only reason I am in this fight to save what we call democracy is because I understand that chaos will only lead to a repetition of the system we have now. I told somebody that the other day, it's like, anarchy and all that. I fight anarchists too. Because at the end of the day, anarchy is only going to lead to the same system we have because the strong will still dominate the marginalized. We can't do this like we did the civil rights movement. We can't. If y'all wouldn't know why I'm looking up here and not looking just directly at you, because on this screen is where my comments are, except this one on, what's up, Raven, on Twitch. My Twitch feed is over here. What's up, Raven? I just saw you on Twitch. All that sounds great, but they won't let it happen because they would have to extend it to black people. But see, this is the thing. I'm not asking them to let it happen. I'm not. We use this as a practice run. We use this as I can't get black people to understand. Right now, I need them to understand why we need to move the way we do to get to the next stage. It's not them, because a united front will accomplish this. No one will do anything until it's in their face or on their doorsteps. Even it depends on how it's in their face on their doorstep. But I think we put too much emphasis on allowing other people allowing us to do stuff. If we took the unbridled approach to the same unbridled approach they take to obtaining power for their selfish and personal gain, if we took that same unbridled approach to securing the rights and freedoms of others through power, it's not even a competition. We allow 1% that has been in our face, people tired. I hear you, ambitious, but I can't afford to be tired. I can't afford to be tired. I got grandkids. I can't afford to be tired. I don't have the luxury of having a mental health breakdown. I don't have the luxury of taking a break because I took the minute I decided to use my sperm to produce children, I took on a responsibility that was beyond just me. When the ancestors called, I answered. I told the ancestors, this is who I will be, and this is who they made me. So I don't have a choice. I don't know.